All right, everybody. Week 45. It's November 2024. And let's pause for a second and just take a deep breath. And why are we doing that? Because today was New York City Marathon. We also had some other races this weekend for everybody. And, this was basically the pinnacle and peak of the season. There's always these bunch of weekends or these big, milestone. We had the Jones Beach race. A lot of people did that, the 70.3. We also had like Long Island Marathon early in the year. So there was these few weekends and things like that that were coming up, especially for me as the coach, where I had a bunch of athletes, a bunch of you towing the start line, a bunch of people in this program, in this path, individualized to this common goal of reaching this start line and inevitably getting to that finish line with all sorts of different trajectories and goals and how we were going to get there. But as quick as it, or I guess as far as it seems away, is as quick as it comes and it goes, even for the athlete and now just as the coach. So takeaways of the weekend were, we had half marathons in Kansas, North Carolina, Ironman Florida, multiple people doing New York City Marathon with all different sorts of goals. And the biggest takeaway, I think, for me as a whole, and that's why I send it out and it's so important, is when I started working with everybody here, was that coaching philosophy and what it really means. And it's remember those SMART goals, those sustainable, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound goals. Because the whole point of this is to be, I keep saying the word sustainable, training, racing, but we want to do this for fun, right? And at least I do. And it seems like I'm attracting those people that have the same mentality of it. Is this is not, just this one grand goal, good, done. Although that is for some people I've coached, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to get at is everybody this weekend, basically, and for the most part this season at these big A races, have gotten to the start line not only just ready through the training, but because you change your mentality and the way that you go about the training and you're trusting the process and the science behind the coaching process and plan that was put out there, is you were able to reach the start line healthy, like ready, motivated, and that's a big thing and a big win for everybody. Is you often see people, friends, other athletes out there showing up like really just bandaged, taped up, holding it together just to hope to get through race day. And that's not the approach I like to take. And even if we have to wait a couple seasons or a few races to maybe inevitably get to the level we want to be at, it's about being smart and just chipping away at the block, setting that new standard every time that we cross that finish line and continuing forward on that. So that to me was the biggest goal, the biggest win there, especially for the weekend. Aside the accolades out there of PRs on the Ironman course, PRs at the half marathon, Boston qualifying time, crushed that time. It was an audaciously set goal that I knew the athlete was capable of. They even second guessed it a couple times when I put that pacing plan together, but they beat the pacing plan by 2 seconds. It was like spot on there. And there was a few of you out there that the big takeaway this time with so many people doing this marathon and being invested into this course was really the focus on pacing. I knew, and hopefully you knew, that you had the fitness to reach these goals that you wanted to hit the time. But there's so much more than I put the training in, now I'm deserved that time. No, you still have to get that, especially in the marathon distance, 26.2 miles of that distance strategically done right, pace wise, nutritionally, fueling wise, all those other things, those decisions you have to make from start to finish in order for you to, earn that time. It's nothing's ever given. You can hit the paces in training, hit the mileage in training, and be like, oh, I'm good for X, Y, and Z on pace. I know I'm going to be able to do that on race day, but it's still, you have to get it done, and a lot of you did, and that it's fantastic. like I'm just overwhelmed. Actually, I'm almost like speechless on the day and the week. I was woken up this morning by an athlete who had finished their half marathon, and it's okay that you woke me up, but I was feeling under the weather. The kids got me sick this weekend. And I forgot it was so early in the morning that they started, because I was so used to the marathoners starting at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning that, yes, normal races start at 7. So by 9 o'clock, she was done, and she called me, and she just wanted to thank me. I did it. I did the time. I'm so excited. And like, I was like, this is amazing. Like, let's go. Let's start the day. And then as the time started rolling in and I was tracking people, had my pacing sheets, for the marathon. And, it was awesome, just to see the splits rolling in, everybody on pace, nobody going out too crazy. You really all listened, at least I hope, to the pacing plan, or it just fell in that way. But these were the strategies and paces and plans and things I was scorecarding during the day, and just was like, let's knock them out one by one. And congratulations on those couple that finished that first marathon. That's amazing. Congratulations. But everybody did it. Everyone had an amazing day, and you all crushed, your goals out there. For those that just hit these long distance A races, Ironmans, marathons, even you peaked and hit that half marathon and hit that result with a PR. Like, these are some results, especially that are that new standard that I talk about. So somebody asked, how should I feel after this, physically? I said, well, it's probably going to hurt a little bit, especially if you're hitting. You're prepared for it. You put it in. I said to somebody too, I'm like, just because you got a better time or you're training more, it doesn't mean it gets any easier. It damn well actually gets harder, because you're fighting more for such minute times to keep beating those. When you're new to sport, you can get these big PRs and these big chunks down until you start getting close towards your potential of what you actually can do, whether it's running or triathlon. And then, we got to be real strategic in just chopping away and getting. And then every time we go out there is this like transcending performance of a new standard. And your body's never done that before. And every year that we do this, we're getting older. So it's bound to, not feel awesome. But the checking the box on getting it done is what makes it all worth it and makes you want to get out there and get after it again. So, going into this week, especially for those that peak, anybody who finishes at peak or an A race, like we need, and especially when there's nothing left on the calendar. Sometimes you hit a race, but you have another race, like a supporting race 4 weeks later, and you have to kind of transition a little quick, short recovery. If this was your peak of the year, you're recovering. Like, super important. If you don't have something coming up right after that, you need to take a week at least. Like, chill. I typically don't like putting anything on your calendar. I don't like to say, yeah, go for a run on Wednesday. No, like, everybody feels different. Enjoy it. Go for walks, put your feet up, relax. Do some things in your life that you've been putting on hold. Get that little to-do list done around the house or with the family that you got to do. Go out to dinner with the fam. Like, thank them for the support and, that they've had for the past few months, and that helped you get to this goal. All those times when you weren't there. You had to wake up early, and other people had to put in some more time around to get everything done. Thank them, and just enjoy the week, and then get back to it easy. You're not going to be able to just jump back in right where the paces are. Like, you're going to have some deep fatigue within, mentally, physically, muscular, tendons, ligaments. All these things just need to heal. Some things may have been borderline. You've peaking. We're pushing the limits every season, especially those that I've worked with for a little bit. And then, now we just need to come down. It's okay to chill a little bit, and just enjoy it. And now what? Like, we got to resist the blues, these post-race blues, these post-A race blues. So inevitably, we got to put something on the schedule. I like to ride the wave down. If I just finish an Ironman or a marathon or something like that, let's sign up for something a little shorter. Maybe a 10K, 10-mile race, a 5-mile race. You got these 4-mile turkey trots coming up. You got these holiday 5Ks. Like, sign up for them and just race them. Like, see what you got, see what kind of fitness you built, put some times on the board, maybe some new PRs, just so we have, and they're just great data collection points as for the coach as well, so I can kind of see where you're at and just ride that wave down into the off season, and then just chill a few months of just base building, having some fun, maybe some local stuff, and then plan ahead for next year. That's going to be the key, is I definitely notice. One thing I love about coaching, because I am this big numbers data collection. I'm basically running my own like scientific research here on watching different athletes put different calendars together with different types of events and seeing kind of which ones play out the best performance wise. And it's definitely those that don't race as often or have conflicting races on their schedule of distances, like where you can't progress or build properly for that race. So the ones that are able to race a little less for these bigger races and plan them out accordingly, space them out appropriately, tend to have the better results and the better, if they're trying that PR versus themselves out there and kind of progress forward, see what their potential is. Those are the ones that are starting to get those breakthrough performances. They understand the cycle of training, that you're going to work the season, peak into these races, come back down, start a little better than you did the year before, and how important that consistency is season after season. Those are the ones that are going to keep progressing forward with things like that. For some of you, our journey may be coming to a close. You wanted to sign on, maybe just learn a bit about training, hit that A race, and now you're going to move on and try and, whether it's just self-coaching yourself, self-guided in the future, whatever it is. I'll be reaching out to everybody by the end of November. Some of you are on still going into 2025, and I'm going to reach out to you for those that are continuing on, just to verify that you are. So if you don't hear from me, about that by say the first week of December, and you are interested in staying on or starting something, and that could even just be not continuing with coaching through the off season, but maybe sometime next year, definitely reach out so I can keep your file and plans together instead of filing them away. It's just a lot easier to keep up with everything like that, because just got to get the roster rolling. Unfortunately, less than 2 months to next year. And now that the peak is really crested for the majority in 2024, it's time to start planning 2025, not just, myself as an athlete, but as a coach and for everybody else on here. And, just got to see who's coming along for the ride next year, who's looking to keep progressing, who's looking to keep learning, who's looking to push themselves and find their true potential with that. And again, some awesome times out there. It was great. Data collection, training, heart rate zone, being able to just take in all this data from these races that you guys were able to put up this weekend is great. If you're going to keep progressing forward, is, a lot of the stuff backed what we said when we did the pacing talk, and I put the pacing video out for the marathoners, kind of describing to you where you need to be for these zones, heart rate wise and things. And now when I look back at the graphs, it's like everything's fitting in right there if you had that accurate data coming in. And I definitely noticed that if you have the more accurate data that I have coming in, the more accurate data that you're giving through the training based on, are we using a heart rate strap, things like that, where it's just consistent, accurate data, versus do we have your training zone set up properly? Are we training off of those accurate zones? Are we racing off of those accurate zones? Those are the ones that are starting to get these real breakthrough performances, and that's exactly what I saw this weekend, especially with the BQ qualifier that we had. They've been so consistent. They've been so great with the data and just trusting everything and going with it. And if something was supposed to be a certain way, they did it a certain way. And they had some successful races this year. It was pretty phenomenal to watch. Really awesome stuff. And, side note is I just been getting a lot of good stuff back. Like towards the end of this year, a lot of thank yous, a lot of it's helping me out and evolve as a coach as well, and keep putting my foot forward. Little side note on myself with the coaching and all that is, year after year, just like myself as an athlete, where year after year so far I try and do something new, scratch the surface of another goal, PR something, like have something that I can look back on and be proud of the year that I built for myself with racing. But I'm also doing that as coaching. Every year that I've now had coaching going on like this is adding new things, adding new ways to reach out, new ways to teach athletes, new ways to interact with athletes, and that's going to progress going forward in 2025. I have tons of ideas that, just trying to write them down and trying to start enacting some of those. Always learning, always adding new classes. I've just branched out to a few things like that as well recently. And 2025 is going to be pretty awesome. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on with that, with the coaching side of things. As far as racing, I'm not sure yet what I want to do. I'm still waiting for some of you to kind of make some decisions as well, because that may sway me as well if there's going to be a few people doing a few certain things. But for tonight, I think that's really all I got. I'll touch base again this week with some more thoughts after I talk to some of you that were out there. But really just a big kudos to everybody so far this season. There's still a couple little A races floating around there. I don't want to spoil it yet for some people, but we're hitting it hard. You still gotta finish out the year. But for everybody who did hit that high point, that A race, those A goals for the year, and actually hit the goals you were shooting for, some PRs and good performances, some breakthrough performances for this year. Congratulations, round of applause for all of you. And for now, stay safe, stay healthy, just relax a little bit, put those feet up, and just keep balancing that life 1 mile at a time. I'll catch you all soon.